I'm the CEO and founder of Clari-T Media, all about human stories and grassroots solutions. Hi, everybody. It's Alicia Mayo. I try and go live as much as I can, but can't go live all the time. Hold on, let me grab my other glasses. How are you doing today? Hope you guys are doing good. I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm just sitting back, doing more research around retiring here in Jamaica. So I left the United States a couple of years ago, and I started scouting out my retirement location. I had to decide where I would retire in the world. And so I came here to Negril, Jamaica for a one week retreat. It was very good to get my mind right and all of that, and to relax and to kind of, just have time to myself. And then I fell in love with Negril, and I realized, like, wait a minute, this might be the place for me. So I came back a few more times, like 9 or 11 times. I think I counted 11 times last time I checked, but got to look back at my passport. Anyway, I came back a few times, back and forth, and realized, like, okay, there's some things about Jamaica that I need to get used to, that I need to learn more about, that I need to know for sure I'm ready for. Okay? Because it's not exactly what I expected. And I knew that I'd have to make adjustments, but I didn't know for sure what kind of adjustments I'd have to make. Okay. So, everything's been pretty easy so far. I mean, just adjusting to being here and traveling from the United States with all of my luggage. If I could do that, then I feel like I could do just about anything that I'm coming up against here in this process of trying to retire somewhere in the world where I'm super comfortable and super happy. So far, it's looking like Jamaica, but I'm not too sure. I'm from San Francisco, in the United States. San Francisco, California is a very multicultural, very diverse city, but with a deep-rooted racist foundation, rooted in racism, like everywhere else in the United States, unfortunately. And so, I needed to move somewhere else where I could go and really live out my life and really enjoy myself in my senior years. Okay, so I'm 60 now. I'll be 61 in August, and I wanted to retire early. But, the idea of retiring early to a lot of people is something that's not even real. It's not a real thing to a lot of United States citizens. They can't imagine it. They don't know how they're going to do it. They haven't been saving any money for it. They have not made any plans for it, but they would love to do it. They would love to retire early. So I had the same idea. I had the same attitude, but I was the one that did the research to figure out how to actually retire early. And according to the Center for Retirement Research, 44% of Black Americans, Black working Americans, retire from the labor force earlier than planned. And often their early retirement is driven by health issues or disabilities. This is what the Center for Retirement Research is saying. That 44% of Black retirees that leave the workforce earlier than they planned, they often are doing it because of health issues or disabilities, and definitely not because they have made plans financially to be free and clear of any debts, any credit card debts, you know, any financial reason to stay in the United States is usually because you want to work and make money. But if you work and make money in the United States and save your money and plan your retirement and invest in some kind of retirement pension plan, chances of you retiring early and being financially able to retire early are pretty slim. As a matter of fact, I retired early And my money is my budget is tight. But that's the reason why I moved to Jamaica, because I wanted to retire early. I had to make sure that I lived in a place where my budget would allow me to be comfortable. Okay? And so I chose Jamaica. Now, I chose Negril, Jamaica, where it's super expensive to live here. I had no idea that it was expensive to live here compared to other parts of the island. So that's the kind of research you need to do. You need to make sure that where you're going is the place that fits your budget. Now, the surrounding parishes or surrounding communities or towns might be better off for my current budget, but my budget won't be like this next year. Next year, I will have gotten several raises in my pension plans, my 2 pension plans, and I will be applying for Social Security then. And so the following year, I'm going to be I'll be in a different financial bracket, okay? So you really need to think about reasons for retiring early. And if you're going to retire early and you go to another country like I did, make sure that you have proof that you are receiving income. Make sure that you have proof of receiving a pension or some kind of retirement plan, because I was told here in Jamaica that I was too young to retire. Go figure. The agent at the Passport Immigration Customs Agency actually said, with her lips bumping, her gums, "You're too young to retire. You're not receiving Social Security, so you're too young to retire." That's just a lack of understanding, a lack of education about retirement and how retirement works. Okay? And that's all over the world. Retirement is different from wherever you are. Please know what the consequences of retiring early are. All right? Including taking less, monthly payments and all of that stuff. But I wanted to really look at the percentages of Black Americans who leave the workforce early, because work is so difficult in the United States. We work so hard in the U.S. Many of us want to stop working, but can't really afford it. And according to the Center for Retirement Research, financial pressures amongst Black retirees are less likely to have Black retirees are less likely to have money saved for retirement. 77% versus 87% of non-Black Americans. Okay? Financial pressures are affecting Black people to the point where they cannot retire when they need to or when they want to. We have to do something about that as Black Americans. We need to make better plans. We need to save more. We need to make the sacrifices in the States long before we move out. That means that you got to stop buying all of the shit. You got to stop shopping so much. You got to forget the cars. You got to forget the clothing, the nice shoes, the nice handbags, the expensive hair salons. Learn how to do your hair yourself, ladies. Learn how to braid your hair yourself, like me. I brought a bunch of braiding hair from the United States because I can't get the color here. But I brought that hair here so I could braid my hair myself. Okay, so according to the Center for Retirement Research, financial pressures for Black retirees are a major reason for not being able to retire or stop working. You're going to kill yourself before you enjoy the rest of your life, the second half of your life? No, I'm not going to work to death. And just because a Jamaican immigration agent doesn't understand that I am actually trying to save my life doesn't mean that I don't get to retire early. What she doesn't know, she'll find out one day. Unfortunately, she'll find out that she wants to retire too. And that she needs to plan to retire early also. You need to plan to retire early, and you need to plan now. And when they say plan early, that's what they mean. I'm 60 years old and I'm telling you, you better plan early. Because you want to quit working early. You're not going to want to work at 67. You're not going to want to work at 70 years old. Who wants to work at 70 years old? Not me. No way. No way. So, the Center for Retirement Research also says that Black Americans are more likely to make early withdrawals from their 401k retirement plans. And there's an article here about that that's posted by the retirement plan, the African American Retirement Pension Plans, AARP. I think that's AARP. Yeah, or go to AARP. You can learn more about the percentages of African Americans and retirement. It's an interesting piece of research. Post-retirement work, it talks about due to financial insecurity, 66% of Black retirees return or continue to work after retirement, compared to 35% of non-Black peers. Imagine that. 66% of Black retirees who, work for 30 years somewhere, retire, 66% of them go back to work or they keep working. What a life. I mean, it sounds a lot like slavery to me if you, I don't know. I mean, sounds like slavery to me. It's like indentured servitude, indentured servitude, like forever working. Let's see here. While some individuals, such as this featured expert in NBC Connecticut, achieve early retirement through financial independence, the data actually suggests a large portion of Black women retire early due to necessity and health limits. Well, yeah, part of my early retirement was due to health concerns. I knew that, my stomach was being affected by all of the stress. Dr. Ugly says I'm not pretty. Thank you, Dr. Ugly. You're ugly. Dr. Ugly. You're not pretty, he says. Pretty is relative. Pretty is subjective. Pretty is to one person what it's not to another. So whatever. Hi. How are you, Dr. Ugly? I hope you're okay. All right. Hello, Krishna. Hi. All right, Felicia. Hi. Hi, Kim Toy. How are you? All right, you guys. I hope you're all doing well. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Can I Retire in Jamaica is still happening. It's a journey that I'm on. I'm trying to retire here in Jamaica. And your retirement journey is not going to be perfect, I don't think. I don't think that the process is going to be exactly the way you expect. I mean, you can make your plans, you can save your money and do all that stuff, but it's not going to be exactly the way you planned it. But if you prepare yourself, you'll be ready for it. For what, you might ask? For example, will your monthly retirement pension cover all of your expenses, plus leave you enough money to have a savings account or to have some money in your pocket every month that you can use for an emergency? Will you have enough money for that? And the way I had to learn was the hard way. I mean, I really didn't have anyone in my family sharing information with me about retirement, pension plans, 401ks, private equity accounts, real estate, investments, in order to sustain my retirement process. Nobody taught me anything about those things. And so I'm just trying to share some of those things right now with you guys. So let's see, the first thing I would say, and I have sons in their 20s, and the first thing I would tell them to do is to go and find a really good job that you enjoy where your employer will match your retirement dollar. So for every dollar that you save, your employer will match your dollar with one of their dollars. That's one way. So matching retirement fund, okay? And of course, your typical Roth IRA or pension fund that you yourself can invest in your money. If you get, $40 a week that you can invest in a pension plan, you can start a pension plan on your own by just depositing into that account on your own. And it takes discipline, but you're paying yourself. You've heard that before. You're paying yourself, and just think in your mind that you may not want to live in the United States if you're in the United States like I was. The United States is liable to go to war at any moment. I mean, they're liable to get hit, with terrorist attacks at any moment, too. I mean, gun violence is rampant. You know, Maybe you just don't want to live in the United States or in a place where there's a lot of violence or there's a possibility of a lot of violence. Maybe you want to move out of an area like that. You want to go and live in a secluded place in the world. And you just want to, hang out with the birds and the trees or something like that. you know, if that's the case, that's possible. You can do that. Just make sure that you select a place where you can receive your pension, your direct deposits into your account, and you have access to a bank and you have access to money. And you can live like that. You can go and plant food and, you don't have to go shopping at a supermarket. You can eat off the land. There are a number of ways that you can retire, but you must have resources. You must have resources, monthly resources every month, because every month you have to eat. Every week you need to eat. You need to have shelter. You need to be able to, buy seeds if you're planting food. You need to buy land if you want land to plant on. So plan ahead, I say. Really look at preventative health. How about that? Preventative health means that you don't have to see a doctor so much. You're not going to need a bunch of medicine. Preventative health care means that you're taking good care of your health right now. You're not drinking a lot. You're not smoking a lot. You're not doing drugs. You are eating properly. You are exercising. You're getting your sleep. All right? So that when you turn 60 like me, you're healthy. You don't have high blood pressure. You don't have, any diabetes. You don't have arthritis. You don't have anything that a doctor needs to take care of all the time. You don't have to be in the hospital. You're not on medication, you know. So preventative health care is important, just like saving for your days at 60, or at 50. Maybe you want to retire at 50 years old. That's not impossible. Maybe you want to retire at 40. That's not impossible. Save every couple of dollars, that you can save. Every year, just like develop a plan for yourself where you're going to save a certain amount of money every year, and then you can live comfortably. I'm living comfortable here in Jamaica on about $2,300 a month. Okay? Some people have less than that, and they're living very comfortable. lives in different parts of the world, and so you got to do your research. But for Black Americans, man, it is pretty sad. 44% of Black retirees leave their jobs earlier than planned, not because they have the money to do it, but because their health concerns or disabilities. They get hurt on the job. They work themselves until they're injured, or you work yourselves until you're sick. Early unplanned retirement is higher than 32% observed among non-Black retirees. Key drivers include health crisis and the need to care for others, with 66% of Black retirees working after retirement just to make ends meet. And that's pretty sad. That's pretty sad. Let me go here and see if I can read a little bit more. According to, let's see, okay. So this is an issued or published, a published report by the 2025 Retirement Confidence Survey, a closer look at Black Americans. And this was published June 25th, 2025, 39 pages. I'm not going to read 39 pages of it, but the Retirement Confidence Survey, RCS, was conducted for its 35th year in 2025 to measure attitudes of American workers and retirees about issues surrounding retirement. The 2025 RCS included an oversample of Black Americans to allow for a closer analysis of the challenges that they face in saving and preparing for retirement. This is a follow-up analysis from the 2021 RCS, when an oversample of Black and Hispanic Americans was conducted to better understand the retirement preparations and thoughts about retirement of these populations. So in the analysis, the demographic profiles and composition of the Black population in the U.S. are compared with those of non-Black Americans. So confidence in having enough money to live comfortably in retirement increased with income regardless of race, okay? While confidence is lower for all Americans at lower incomes, Black Americans with incomes of less than $35,000 to $75,000 were more likely to be confident than non-Black Americans. Oh, I don't know. Okay, let me just skip some of the details and let me just read the headlines. The wealth gap between Black Americans and non-Black Americans remain even as incomes rise. Black Americans with higher incomes were more likely to consider debt to be a major or a minor problem for their household. So being in debt, like I said, I mean, you don't need to buy all of that stuff. How do we get into debt? By spending too much. You go into debt by spending too much. You spend your money on cars. You spend your money on shoes and clothes and hair and makeup and food and unnecessary trips. When I made this trip to Jamaica, I made a couple trips after because I knew I was planning to retire here and buy land here. I didn't make unnecessary trips to Jamaica just to hang out and meet a bunch of men and get a bunch of booty rubs on a water raft. Booty rubs. No booty rubs for me. No, I didn't come to Jamaica for the booty rubs. I didn't come to Jamaica for the men. I came to Jamaica for the land, not a man. Yeah, so don't go into debt if you plan on living happily ever after in your retired life. Stop buying a bunch of junk, okay? Black Americans in general agree that they feel knowledgeable about managing their day-to-day finances. Are you sure? and managing savings and investments for the future. Between three quarters and nearly 90% of Americans, depending on their income, either somewhat or strongly agreed that they feel knowledgeable about managing their day to day finances, with only differences by race. Okay, and black folks, I don't know where the confidence might come from, but as long as you're shopping, you should feel really bad. Like you should be sweating. You should feel sick on the stomach when you're shopping and just spending money on a bunch of shit that you don't need, and you're not spending money on your retirement plan. The United States is just not the place to retire. It is not. Now there are parts of the U.S. that are affordable. Texas and Utah, the Midwest, but there is not a whole lot going on there besides a whole lot of dry land, not much culture, racism, injustices, dialing back on, you know, cultural lifestyles, history, black history. I mean, they don't even want to teach black history in the school. So what do you think your future will be as a black person in the US? I'm talking to them. Hi, everybody else. Thank you so much for joining me. I just thought I'd get on and, just read a little with you guys and talk a little bit about retiring early. I am here in Negril, Jamaica, and I started this vlog series called Can I Retire in Jamaica? Because I am on this journey to retire early. I didn't want to work in the United States to death. I didn't want to work until I was sick. I wanted to leave the United States while I was still healthy and still in my right mind and still, receiving some kind of pension and monthly income so that I could see the world, do a little traveling, have some peace of mind, um, have a different environment, different lifestyle. I'm kind of a risk taker, and I am. I am a travel junkie, although I haven't traveled much. I want to travel more. So I had to save and plan a life that would allow me to do that. And as a Black American woman, it was unusual, highly unusual for me to be retiring early and to be moving abroad. More and more of us are doing it, but it's still unusual. It's so unusual. Here in Jamaica, I had an immigration agent that was interviewing me and taking documents for my retirement residency application. She told me that I was too young to retire. And I'm like, really? You think so? So I'm up against, individual attitudes. I'm up against, people who think I should be doing what they think I should be doing. Fuck that. Fuck that. I'm not doing what other people think I should be doing. This is 2026. And I don't know about any place else in the world, but here in Jamaica and in the United States, I have a right to do what the fuck I want to do. Retire when I want to retire. Live where I want to live. Well, almost. Almost. So I'm trying to live out my dreams. I'm not listening to what anybody else has to say about where I should live, what I should be doing with my life at 60, who I should be dating, and all of that. Fuck all of that. Fuck it all. At 60 years old, I know better. So I'm doing what the hell I want to do. And if you want to do what the hell you want to do and want to live wherever you want to live, I say work, save some money, start a business, save your money, invest in real estate, save that real estate, hold on to it until the value increases. And the increase will happen. Real estate value is going up in other parts of the world because so many of us are leaving the United States. We're finding places all over the world to buy, and and it's a lot less expensive. It's more affordable. You get more for your money than in the United States. The United States, oh my gosh, it's such a sick place. And it's unfortunate that my friends and family are still there. If any of you are watching, get out now. Get out now. You can always return. I can always return. But get out now. Take a break. Make some plans for yourself. All right? Wise kid, you think I'm too young? Hell no, I'm not too young. I'm 60 years old. Wise kid, you got to get wise. You got to save your money. You got to plan ahead. I'm not too young. Do you know I'm already I'm dealing with some signs of arthritis in my hands and in my feet and my knees. 60 might seem young to you, but it just depends on what your genetic makeup is. So if you have a disposition to arthritis or rheumatoid arthritis or some kind of immune compromise, and rheumatoid arthritis is part of the autoimmune system. Um, if you have family related health issues like that, that is another reason for you to retire early so that you can take care of yourself. You should not be working until you're dead, especially with some kind of you know, pre, what do they call that? Predisposition. If you know that it runs in your family, you better start planning ahead even more so. That's more reason for you to plan. So, like, for example, high blood pressure runs in my family. So I do everything in my power to watch my blood pressure, keep track of my heart, and hypertension, not eating a lot of salt and stuff like that. So I'm here in Jamaica and I'm eating, natural foods, a lot of vegan food, a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables, food from the land, not a lot of salt. I do add salt and I have to be very, very careful of that. So that's just another reason for you to retire early, and to save your money ahead of time. All right. It also says here under the research, the RCS research, Black Americans with higher incomes were less likely to have personally saved for retirement. So even Black Americans with money and with the ability to save money aren't doing that for retirement. For Black Americans with incomes of $75,000 or more, only 77% of Black Americans report having saved for retirement compared to 87% of non-Black Americans. Okay, so the higher income Americans, 87% of them report having saved for retirement. But 77% of Black Americans who have money are not saving for retirement. That one statistic alone says something much deeper about Black Americans who are not personally saving for retirement. Probably because they're spending more while they're alive. Black Americans have a black tax. Do you guys know about a black tax? Just for being black, you pay more just for being black. Your rates for credit cards are higher, your finance charges are higher, your home loans are higher, cost more because you're black. Yeah. So let's move on. The top reason for taking a loan or withdrawal from a workplace retirement plan was quite different between the races. Black people do it for emergency purposes, okay? When you dip into your black retirement plan from your black job, you being taxed as a black person, and then you only have this much money left over to work with. It's not going to go very far, and then you've wiped out all of your retirement. You have nothing. So really think seriously about retirement and early retirement. Like it really does require work. Oh, thank you so much, wise kid. Thank you. I think I'm a beautiful woman. Not pretty, but beautiful. I appreciate that compliment. I appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe, all right? And tap on the notifications bell so when I go live, you can see me when my hair is all fixed up and not braided back. I braided it myself because I didn't want to pay $30 for this hairstyle. This hairstyle right here alone, just, to twist it all going back, actually costs about $30 on average to do when I can do it myself. I'm saving $30. That's how I am able to retire early. I live in a studio apartment where I pay just $500 a month here in Jamaica. I'm making a sacrifice for space so that I can build my retirement home just down the road where I bought a quarter acre of land. I sacrificed and spent 60,000 United States dollars on a piece of land. Prime location. Location. Yes, I spent that much money because of the location. And now that land has doubled in value. I play my cards right. I know what I'm doing. People want to talk, and chat here in Jamaica and at home about, ooh, you paid 60,000 for a quarter acre in Jamaica? Because I knew what I was doing. I knew where I was buying. I knew that the timing was right. And I'm glad I did it when I did it because now the value of my land is double, has doubled. And as soon as I build on it, it will be worth even more. And I'm going to build an Airbnb where I can rent and have some rental income as well. All right. So that's it for now, you guys. I just wanted to talk a little bit about retiring early. And yes, I can retire in Jamaica. I have retired in Jamaica. That's the name of this vlog. Can I retire in Jamaica? That was the question I had for over a year and a half. And it's been almost 2 years now. And so I have retired here in Jamaica. But am I good enough for Jamaica? Can I afford to live here according to Jamaican passport immigration customs agency agents? They think I've retired too early. I'm trying to tell them that it's never too early to stop working. You too can stop working for someone else. Work for yourself. Retire early and work for yourself. You may need to make some sacrifices like I have, but it is worth it in the end. I now have generational wealth that I can pass down to my sons and to my grandson. And I did it all by myself as a Black American woman. I left the United States in order to make this dream a reality. I'm still going through it. I'm still on the journey. It's not over yet. I still struggle. I miss my family back home in the United States. My mom is sick. I would love to see her. I don't always have the money to travel back home because I'm investing here. That's the sacrifice I have to make. But it's worth it. It's worth it because you have your sovereignty, you have your freedom, you have space, you have security, and you have a future with different prospects than you might have where you're at. I can grow my own food. I couldn't do that in the United States. Even if I wanted to plant my own food, Where could I do it? We didn't have community farms. We didn't have space to plant food. And in my community, it was so dry in Northern California that we were having fires every year. We had the Ridgeview fire, we had the Complex fire, and then we had one other fire that happened the year before the Ridgeview fire. I just can't remember the name of it, but the Hillcrest fire, I think it was. And we were burned out 2 years in a row. My son and I had to evacuate our house. There were mountain lions running through the neighborhood that had been burned out from their natural habitats. There were black bears running through my neighborhood. Imagine black bears. Go to Google or type in black bear running through Fairfield, California. That's my old neighborhood where the bear was running through it. The bear was burned out of its natural habitat. And so were the people, and many houses were burned. And it's because of California's land mass being predominantly dry. All of our national parks, Yosemite National Park, the Redwood Forest, and all of that, they're all dry and they haven't been cleaned up. And they're just primed for fire, you know? So we were burned out. And I mean, the lifestyle afterwards, just, I could tell everything was going downhill. Everything was dry. We were having water, a crisis. We were, we had our problems with enough resources, with food, and families, poor families not being able to afford, fresh food and, oh, I mean, one thing after another in the United States and in California. So I decided to take a break and leave the country and go take a look around at the other parts of the world. I came here to the Caribbean not knowing what to expect. Excuse me. Excuse me. Been eating pineapple here, fresh pineapple. Didn't know what to expect when I got here to Jamaica. And then I discovered that, yeah, it's affordable to live here. Lots of people want to live here and be in the Caribbean. A lot of people come here to reinvest or to invest their income and their money and, to really double their assets and really take a chance at investing on something other than failure in the United States. And so I did that here in the Caribbean, and I'm glad that I did. I took a big risk, and I came here alone. I didn't come here with any support, any financial support outside of my retirement pension plans and a little alimony, which is going to end soon. And so, I'll have another sacrifice, but I'll also have some raises in some other areas where I'm going to balance my income. And then I'm an independent contractor. I do marketing for small businesses. I'm from the world of radio and television, production, technical literacy in television and broadcasting, journalism. I'm a technical writer. I am a program specialist. I'm a program and project administrator for nonprofit organizations as well. So, I have some skills. I'm a broadcast engineer. I know how to run a TV station, a radio station. I have a lot of skills at 60 years old. I'm also a licensed child care provider, a licensed cosmetologist. I know how to do hair and makeup and all that stuff. Okay, so you got to have your skills. You have to be prepared and ready to do whatever it takes to make money, start your own businesses. I also own a multimedia agency called Clari-T Media. Clari-T Media is all about human stories and grassroots solutions because out of chaos comes clarity. Out of every bad situation, there is some good in it. You got to find it. You got to go digging around. You got to work hard, save your money, be frugal, be smart, make moves, take risks, do it alone. You may not have any support, but believe in yourself no matter what, okay? Subscribe to here to Clari-T Media. Subscribe to Can I Retire in Jamaica and follow me on my journey. Come back, check on me, see how I'm doing. See if I'm making it, all right? Let's see. Let me read. I'm gonna go back. You get a lot of compliments. Oh, a lot of compliments. A lot of comments. A lot of compliments. Hi, everybody. Thank you for the compliments. Oh yeah. Can you stop saying bad words? I'm a kid watching you. Okay. I'm not gonna say any more bad words. I'm so sorry. You shouldn't be watching because I selected that this wasn't made for children. But okay, I'll stop cursing. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm glad that you guys could find something to agree with me on. Nancy, yeah, thank you so much, Nancy, for joining me here. I'm so pretty, and I should not let people tell you what to do, what's what, and what you want. This message is held for review. Okay. Um, Thank you again, wise kid. You have the right to do whatever you want to do. Don't let anyone decide for you. That is a good idea, a smart one. Yeah, correct. You are saying the truth. Work for yourself. What country are you in? I'm in Jamaica right now. I'm in Negril, Jamaica. And yeah, I'm talking about Jamaica. I love it here. The soil is rich here for agriculture for sure. Yeah, thank you. I'm talented. I went to school, and I didn't stop going to school. I was, unfortunately, I was a high school dropout because I had to help my mom raise my younger brothers. I was the oldest kid and the only daughter. So I was kind of like the second mom for my brothers. So I helped raise my brothers. And then I finally finished high school. And then I went to college and I became a college graduate at 51 years old. So, you know, you're never too old to do something great. You're never too old to do something great with your life. Just because I'm, 60 and retired, doesn't mean that I'm done yet. No. It's true that a lot of retirees work after they retire, but I plan to have some fun. I plan to do some artwork. I plan to write some scripts. I plan to create some short films. I want to do all of the things that I wasn't able to do when I was younger, raising my brothers, and being responsible. Sorry for the light in the back. Being responsible for my younger brothers, didn't give me the opportunity to really live out my younger years. So I'm doing some fun stuff now. Okay? And you're never too young to have some fun. You're never too old to have some fun. All right, so I'm going to wrap it up. All right, sending love to you too, Ian John, and all the rest of you wonderful folks that joined me for this live stream. Thank you so much. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'm just a couple of subscribers away from 1,000. And according to YouTube, they're saying they like my content when I get serious about it and, I make the background look nice and I come on talking about a subject and I make sense and I don't jump all over the place. YouTube likes that. And so maybe I'll start doing more. And especially if they're going to make it easier for me to do that. So they said I need 1,000 subscribers and I need enough watch hours. I have the watch hours. 4,000 watch hours is all you need, but I have 157,000 watch hours. Yeah, I've been on YouTube for a long time, but I was on YouTube as a journalist and as a producer for Clari-T Media. So I was doing something completely different when I was working. So you can go back to my channel after this is over and you can look at all of the old videos and you can see what kind of work I used to do. Now I'm retired and I'm living in Jamaica. So instead of creating a separate YouTube channel called Can I Retire in Jamaica, I'm adding it to Clari-T Media because I want you guys to see the full picture of my life. I want you to see what I used to do, how I used to look, and compare it to what I'm doing now. And it should give you an example of a full and rich life. I hope to do that on my page, give you an example of what a full life looks like in the United States and what a full life looks like here in Jamaica as a retiree. So share this content with your friends and family, especially those women in your family over 50 years old. Tell them about me. Let them know that there is somebody out here doing something really exciting and great. She's living out her dreams at 60 years old. She graduated college at 51 years old. She sacrificed her own youth and young life in order to help her family and her parents, and now look at her. Look at Alicia. Yeah, I'm having a great time. So thank you everybody for tuning in. I love all of you so much. I hope your lives are going well. I hope you're in a safe place. I hope you're not in a dangerous part of the world. If you are, please keep yourselves safe. Keep yourselves as safe as you possibly can. Be good to your neighbors. Help each other out. Share with your neighbors. If you have something extra to give, share a little food, money, resources, whatever it is, because the world operates easier and better, and it's much more fun and much easier when we're working together. All right, you guys? And tune in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and go live with me when I go live again. It's been 51 minutes. I love you guys. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Save your money.